Hey guys, how are you?
Hi.
Ciao
Fabrizio!
guys, ciao ciao. How are you?
So nice to meet you!
Pleasure. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to get straight into it.
You're looking well. Go on, Rebecca. I always get
think
told off
he's-
by Rebecca, by the way, just so you know.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Okay, you look like you're in vacation mode, and so you should be in
Yeah.
vacation mode because we are in September. So your work in the August transfer window, the summer transfer window at least, is done for now. We have
Yeah.
a lot of conversations, Fabrizio, on this podcast about a lot of things to do with football, and we will get on to that. But we just thought that you could maybe be a slight referee for us over a couple of things we've been talking about recently, with your just to see if Italy, just to see if Italy kind of beats both England and America, or maybe England wins most of these categories. Let's find out. Okay, what do you
Okay,
think,
good.
Fabrizio, about English food?
I'm not the biggest fan at all. I'm sorry. I'm Italian,
Wow.
so I can't be the biggest fan.
To be fair, Italian food is the best.
It is.
probably
I know. I actually me too. When you think of English food, what do you think of, Fabrizio?
I think of fish and chips. That's it, basically.
Right.
Not
that's
big
it,
fan at
yeah.
all.
Got it. Wow. Harsh.
I
Okay.
mean, you just
what-
asked an Italian if he likes British food. What
Yeah.
are we doing with this podcast?
No, trust me. I will send Fabrizio some beans on toast, and he will enjoy it. Okay. What about the United States against England against Italy for music?
Well, for music, they're fantastic. I mean, I'm a big fan of Italian music, so I love my country, but I have to say United States are on very good level. So I would probably vote for United States.
Okay.
I say Taylor is happy.
Okay. Here's a question. What about Italy versus England versus the United States for football?
Look, I know it's difficult, this one, but after winning at Wembley, I will go with my country. I will go with Italy because that night for me has been one of the best of my life. So
All right.
let me
Okay.
say
Enough
Italy,
about that.
for sure.
Okay. Definitely. I knew I should have gone
Not
down
about
that
the
path.
league,
Okay.
Not about the league because I'm a big fan of the Premier League.
I know. Okay. Honestly, Fabrizio, it's so lovely to have you on the podcast. We have so many things we want to talk to you
Thank
about. Of course, famous for everyone knowing your name, everyone knowing your "Here we go" catchphrase, the man that breaks everything to do with transfers and all sorts of news, not just transfers for football. But I want to ask you about your background, first of all. Just tell us about the influences in your life as a child with football and how football became such a big part of your life.
Look, I'm lucky because I was born in Napoli and my city is Napoli, and you can imagine that Napoli is kind of South American place more than Italian because football is everywhere. Football is in the streets. Diego Maradona is like God in Napoli, and so for my family, my father, my brother, football was absolutely everything. And so for me, it was quite easy to enter into this system to fall in love with football immediately. So for me, it was really easy to understand that I wanted to do something in football, even when I was a child. This was my dream. Then I understood immediately that it was impossible with my feet to become a football player. So I was quite lucky to understand immediately that probably there were different ways. And then I decided to jump into journalism because probably it was the only way, but also my passion for football was too strong. They always tried, my parents, to say, but maybe you can explore something different, try to see when you study if you have some different passion. But for me, football was absolutely everywhere, and I owe this to my country and to my city, Napoli, because trust me, Napoli is pure football every single day.
Fabrizio, did you play though? Did you play the game? And when
I
you
did.
did, what position were you? And what age did you realize? I'm gonna be better with the phone and the computer.
Yeah, better with the phone, better with PlayStation, but I played. I used to play. I used to play when I was like 9, 10, obviously with my friends, and I still play with them. Just five-side football, just to spend some time together. But I never got at the level where you are a pro football player or you try to get to that stage. So it was absolutely impossible for me. But
What
I
was the
playing
game you played in PlayStation? Hang on a minute. What was the game you played?
only PES and FIFA for me. Only that. Nothing else. All day. But I
And
still
who was
play,
your
yeah?
team? Who was your team?
I still play. No, I always change that. I don't have a favorite team on FIFA. I always
Random.
change. I can tell you my system, 3-5-2, like Antonio Conte, always. I never change the system. I change the team, but never the system. I still
he
play,
wa-
yeah?
Hey, Theo, he was the only guy that would play a video game looking for a 0-0 draw going to penalties.
Exactly.
Oh, so you're not a man of risks, or are you? Because I wanted to ask you, actually, obviously players take risks. Well, if you play for Arsenal
Yeah.
at this moment in time, you probably don't take as many risks. But however, what's the biggest risk you've taken in your reporting career? Because I'm just intrigued to know how it compares to football.
I remember there was once the story when I broke the story. It was 2 years ago, March 23, when Nagelsmann got fired by Bayern, and they decided to appoint Thomas Tuchel. It was a huge risk because there were zero reports in the media, zero in Germany, in Europe, everywhere, and also Bayern were doing fantastic at that time. If you remember, Nagelsmann was doing a fantastic job. They were dominating in the Champions League. I think they just conceded one goal in the group stage, so they were doing fantastic. And out of nowhere, I got this news of Bayern deciding to fire Nagelsmann and bring in Thomas Tuchel. It was during an international break. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna obviously post this story because I'm 100% sure of my sources. But I felt really something special because it was really, really risky. Maybe if it was wrong, my reputation was probably gone because it's Bayern, it's Thomas Tuchel, it's Julian Nagelsmann. These are big names, a big club. And so I was really tense in that moment, but I was 100% sure of my sources. And from Bayern, they wanted to kill me right after that. But at the end, was a good one.
Wow. Fabrizio, talk to us about the mechanics of your job. You were talking there about the Nagelsmann story, and you were very sure of your sources. So for the regular person, and for us as well, that have no, we don't do anything like, we're all, journalists of a type, but we do nothing like your kind of journalism, real breaking news and scoops. How much is it you checking in with every source on a kind of round robin basis, or when you smell a story? And how often is it somebody calling you? Just explain us, how does that work?
Look, I think it really, really depends on every single situation. It's not a fixed system that I'm following. Of course, the most important part of my job is to verify and check the news, but I can tell you that there are some sources that I trust 100%, and so I don't even need to make one more call. I just post the story straight away because I'm 100% sure of the person calling me and telling me that story. And this is probably people that I know for, 10 or 15 years since I started, because really I keep some sources for maybe 10 or 15 years. And in other cases, it can be tricky because, sometimes, agents or people close to the players can try to force some story. And so you need to check and verify several times. Sometimes there is a strategy. In many cases, there is strategy. I think we had the perfect example a few days ago with the Nicolas Jackson and Bayern story with Chelsea. In that case, it was full of strategies, all the brief, the deal is off, the deal is on, the deal is on hold. It was complete strategy from Chelsea side, from player side, from Bayern side. And so sometimes it's not just about the news you get, but also you have to understand with your own brain what's going on behind the scenes and who is trying to use the strategy via journalist to try to put pressure on the other club or maybe on the agent, on the player. So the difficult part is that one now, I think when you get into journalism for many years, you always are going to get stories, but to understand what's going on in the difficult sagas is not just about the information. I think it's also about using your brain to understand how they want to use you in some situations. So again, there are some people I trust 100% when they call me. I post immediately. Other people that need many and many checks every single day. And I can tell you, sometimes even the players. Sometimes the players can text me, ask me something, but sometimes the player don't know the truth behind their transfer because maybe their agents are telling them something, but the club is having a different strategy. So strategy is the crucial word. You need to understand what's going on before making sure that you're going to post that story.
Fabrizio, have you ever been burned by a story where you trusted someone? I'm not naming names, but more so just how did you learn to become who you are in understanding I can report this knowing that this is 100% going to be part of the story? It doesn't have to be correct at the time, but it eventually will be, if that makes any sense of what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it's always about the experience. First of all, many people think that when it's about transfers in football, is very traditional, like the two clubs negotiating. I can guarantee to you that now maybe 10% of the deals are done club to club. All the rest is done by intermediaries and by people that you will never know the name or the face, or you will never see them in a TV show or newspapers on Twitter or Instagram. It's full of these intermediaries who are taking care of the biggest deals in football. They are agents. They can be football agents or people who is very good at negotiating, but I can guarantee to you, again, that or there is a very good relationship between the owners of the clubs, or it's very difficult that you will see a deal done club to club at the highest level in Europe and not only. So now you need to understand with experience as a journalist how important is these people, because at the end it's the intermediaries driving the deals. The club, obviously, they have their target, they have their price, they have their budget, but then the intermediaries are very important to this game. In my opinion, too important. much. This is too much, probably, because we should return to a traditional football where everything was easier and where money was not spent into people that is not bringing this money again into the game. So this probably is a different topic. But as a journalist, it's really important to understand when there is a big deal, who is taking care of this deal, who is doing the deal, who is managing the negotiation. I know that this is really behind the scenes, but this is the sense of the story. Sometimes it's not just about the club, it's not just about the player himself. Maybe there is people dealing with that, and you need to be in contact with the right people if you want to be first on the story and accurate, of course.
And as well, like Fabrizio, what impact do you feel with the social media? Does that really affect the transfer negotiations? And leading on to that as well, did you expect the "here we go" to become like a cultural catchphrase?
No, I think about the "here we go," look, I didn't expect this at all, to be honest.
Okay.
When it started, it was just because many people was texting me after I said "here we go" for a Man United transfer, but it was many years ago. I didn't even plan for that. So I just put "here we go" because I was quite tired about that. So it was like, okay, after 6-7 weeks, here we go, this deal is done. I don't remember which one. And then all people started texting me like, can you say "here we go" also for Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona? I said, okay, let's do that. And that's how we started, but I wasn't planning for that at all. So it's kind of responsibility, but I like that also because, it started together with people following me. And so I was quite happy about that. But then social media, I think, completely changed the game. I think today, trust me, there are many deals that collapse also because of social media reporting. It's not just about me. It's also about other excellent journalists out there who can break a story and create a problem to the deal. I can guarantee to you that if there wasn't social media, Lucas Paquetá was an Aston Villa player now. And now he's at West Ham because the deal collapsed because of the leaks too early or maybe in a crucial stage of the negotiation and making people upset at West Ham. So this can happen. I think social media is really creating sometimes a problem to the negotiations, but this is also part of the game.
It wasn't him kissing the badge for West Ham when he scored against Forest.
I mean, how funny was that, Fabrizio, when that celebration with the phone and he threw the phone away? I mean, I bet you watch some of those things and you're like, okay.
Of course. But it's part of life, of course. I'm sure that 2-3 days before the negotiation was quite advanced, but it's football.
Leading on for that as well, the Saudi Pro League, how does that affect the European transfer power now in the next? How do you feel that would be in the next 5 years, maybe, perhaps?
No, look, first of all, as a journalist, it's been a big problem because when it started 2 years ago, you needed to have new sources, completely new word, new people into the game, full of fake people pretending they were doing the deals and it was not true, full of people from that country, probably from Saudi, trying to suggest, I am the person to talk to if you want information, and the information was completely false. So it was very difficult, not just for me as a journalist and for all the other journalists, but I think also for people in the industry. Many agents or many directors were calling me and saying, do you know this guy? Because he's texting me for Al Nasser, Al Hilal, Al Ittihad, and he pretends he's the director, but who is this person? So it was something completely new that completely changed the game for me and for all the people involved in the industry. If you want my opinion, I'm sure that they will keep going. They will keep going on young players also. So not only the big stars who are 30, 35, 33 going there to Saudi, but I think their target now is to try to bring young players as many as possible. Obviously, it's not going to be always easy, but it's working now for them, this attraction for young players, and maybe also to become a platform to let some players go after 1 or 2 years. I think this summer something happened, for example, with Egi Fernandez, this Argentinian midfielder who was at Al Qadsiya last season, and then they sold him this summer to Bayer Leverkusen for higher money. I think they paid 15 million and they sold him for 30. So they are starting to become also a platform. So this is their mission, but I don't think this is going to be like China. I think they will continue and keep going strong in the next years.
I'm really interested, Fabrizio, about your day-to-day schedule. Because I can imagine that because you work so much off your device, that you can never actually have downtime. Can you just take us through whether it's during a transfer window or not? Because I know you don't just get loads of time on your hands right now, because you're always breaking things. Just talk us through what an average day in Fabrizio Romano's life looks like.
Look, this is probably not so healthy, but it's my life. I'm always with my phone, always.
Screen time's a lot.
Screen time is terrible, Theo, trust me. It's like 19 or 20 hours during the transfer window. It's terrible, but it's more about understanding the moments. I think with the experience now, you need to understand when is a moment when things are happening. And so you can kind of control the market, trying to understand as well if something is happening today, or maybe you can relax a bit more. but I can never turn my phone off. It never happened, I think, in the last 10 years. Never, ever. You need to make sure that you are flying somewhere. Maybe you have to go to London or to Madrid or to Paris for Champions League, and you have to make sure that your flight is in the morning and not in the middle of the afternoon, because something might happen and maybe the Wi-Fi on board is not working that well. And so you have to make sure your flight is at the right time.
What about at night time?
Yeah, also, yeah, nighttime, it depends, because during the transfer window, like a few weeks ago, it was 2 weeks ago, the Xavi Simons deal for Tottenham was agreed at 3 a.m. in the night. So at 3 a.m. in the night, I was with my friends here working all day. And at 3 a.m., I was excited like it was midday, because many things were happening. People were calling me and I was saying, okay, I'm actually the only journalist awake now. So I can break the story and no one is disturbing me. So I was very happy about that, because at 3 a.m. the deal was agreed. Imagine that Xavi Simons did his medical at Tottenham, the first part at 2 a.m. in the night, and the 3 a.m. was completed between the clubs. So you never know what's going to happen. You always have to be on point. And if you want to understand how my life works, I don't know about the day. I don't know which day is today. I have no idea, absolutely. I only know it's Monday. But if you ask me, it's 8th of September, 10th of September, I have no idea at all. Because for me, it's always work, work, work. If it's Christmas or my birthday, I don't care.
Theo, the only thing I got out of that is, imagine if my medical was at 2 o'clock in the morning. I probably would have failed it. I probably would have failed it, Fabrizio. Fabrizio, I'm really curious, because Theo, Rebecca, and I have talked about competition, whether you're in TV, you're on the field, whatever it may be. We're all competitive. I know you're competitive. What gets your juices going competitively? Are there other journalists? Are there agents that you don't have a relationship with? Like, what gets you going that motivates you to still do this for 21 hours of screen time during transfer window days?
Look, I am competitive for sure, but I have also I understand that it's impossible to be always first on all the stories. Also because I'm trying to do something that I think others are not doing. So to try to cover the news worldwide. So for me,
global.
news. Yeah, exactly. Global. So if I try to cover a news on River Plate, maybe a news on Fluminense, maybe a news on Bologna, and then a news on Arsenal, and then Olympique Marseille. So it's not just one country. And this is the big difference. So I don't suffer when someone else is breaking a story, because I think it's absolutely human. I can't pretend to be the only one. There are many fantastic journalists. I think the transfer market journalism has completely changed in the recent years. Now the level is way higher. I think if you remember when I was a kid, I think especially in England, in other countries, it was absolutely terrible, rubbish. It was just about the gossips, full of fake stories. Now the level is so high, so good, and I'm quite happy about that. So I don't suffer when someone else is breaking a story. You always try to be first, but I think the most important part is to be always accurate. So my competitive part is about trying to be first. But if you can't, okay, let's move on and you will have another one. Also because you can never enjoy. Sometimes you can break the biggest story ever. You are very happy and excited maybe for 10 or 15 minutes, and then on to the next one, because you can't relax, you can't enjoy. There is already something else to tell to people. And so you can't have that feeling, okay, today I broke a big story, because someone else is already working on a different one.
Fabrizio, what's like next then for you, for your brand? And have you ever considered mentoring the next generation? Yeah, well, maybe that, but maybe mentoring, maybe like a mentor kind of establishment or academy.
How about a vacation, Theo? How about a vacation?
Yeah, but this is a man who wants to work, and he's definitely onto something. Just building that next generation, because I look at it with the young players at Arsenal, for instance, for give you an example of that next generation, or even England players, for instance. What's the next generation of journalism? What would that look like? Or what would you want it to look like?
Look, if you want my opinion, it's really important. First of all, I come from a country, Italy, where, trust me, in the schools and everywhere, no one speaks more than one language. Maybe English, but it's a terrible English. It's not good English. And for me, speaking Spanish, speaking Portuguese, some English, of course, Italian, was really game changer. So it's really important to study, learn new languages. It's really important. And don't forget about the traditional journalism, because maybe now many people see me as someone who, okay, has millions of followers here and there. But then I started as a traditional journalist, and I spent 6-7 years of my life till I was 24, 25, every single day in the streets in Milano in the summer, 3 months, June, July, and August, not even one day off, all day in the streets. It was very hot, trust me, and very cold in January when the transfer window was obviously also open in the January market. every day. I started my network in the streets, not on Instagram, not on Twitter, not on X, not on social media. It all started in the streets. I was going around for Sky Sport in Italy every single day, out of the restaurants, out of the hotels, go there and try to meet people, meet directors, meet agents, meet players. The first time they will not care about you. You are a small kid. Who is this guy? The second as well, the third as well. But then if you are there every single day, they will appreciate your respect, your consistency. And maybe the first day they're not talking to you, the second and the third as well. But then on the fourth, maybe they say hi and you can have a coffee. That's how my story started.
I love
it. The traditional side of journalism is really important and is still really important. You can't learn journalism out of nowhere.
No, you put the groundwork in. Okay, I have a couple of practical questions I'm really interested in. So your phone, you obviously have got the most amazing amount of contacts in there, right? Massive names.
Yeah.
Do you have to disguise them on your contacts list in case your phone were to get lost or stolen?
Good question. I never thought about it.
Well, so if David Beckham phones you, does it come up David Beckham?
No, of course.
I come up as Stifler, though, Rebecca. In his number, I come up as Stifler.
No, of course. No. I save all the names with the correct name. Don't worry. Just once, I can tell you this one. Just once, when there was a transfer for Dani Olmo to Barcelona from Red Bull Leipzig, and my source told me, let's save our names in a different way because I know you are with people who might understand who is talking to you, and I will be with people who will understand you are talking to. So let's change the names. Let's put some girl name on the phone. And so I broke the story on Daniel Olmo with a fake source inside. That was crazy, but sometimes can happen.
Some girl's name. I love it. Okay, and then what about, when I go and get a new phone, It's an absolute disaster. I'm trying to swap over things. It's not working. I can't transfer my contact.
Me as well.
That must be terrifying, Fabrizio, when you're upgrading your phone.
I love this question because every time I have to change my phone, all my friends say, come on, you have 40 million followers. People think you have the best phone. I have a terrible phone because I hate to change my phone. I'm always scared about change something. You lose some contact. Maybe this app is not working. That is not working. I'm terrible at that. So I always keep my same phone. I think it's 3-4 years. I have the same till it gets burnt. But at the moment, I'm very happy with that one. I'm not going to change.
A man after my own heart. We need to make it easier.
We got to get rid of the Palm Pilot. Rebecca, we got to get rid of the Palm Pilot. Let's get him maybe a new iPhone.
How on earth is it 2025 and Fabrizio Romano and I are stressed out about getting a new iPhone? Fabrizio, I absolutely feel it. Right.
I'm still scared.
Yeah, me too. I've only got about 3 important people in my phone. Okay, we've got a couple of quick fire questions to end with. We're going to start with the biggest transfer story that you broke.
Look, for me, it was Zinedine Zidane leaving Real Madrid, because that one, for me, the name of Zinedine Zidane for my generation was unbelievable. And then it was Real Madrid out of nowhere. That one, for me, in 2021 was an incredible story.
Number 2, one transfer rumor you wished had come true.
Probably Leo Messi back to Barcelona, because I think if that one happened, this was going to break the social media, but it didn't.
Biggest transfer that fell through?
There are many, There are many transfers like this. The biggest, well, probably for me, an absolute shock to mention him again, but it's about this name when I ask the biggest. Messi not resigning his contract at Barcelona when he then joined Paris Saint-Germain, that afternoon was an absolute shock for the whole world of football. I still remember at 4 p.m. when the news started to leak that Barcelona were not able to complete that contract. That was an incredible shock. We were all 100% sure about Messi going there to resign his contract, and he was also sure about that. And then imagine a player like Messi in Barcelona. That was a complete shock.
What about a moment that your phone has rung and you're like, whoa, never saw that transfer coming? Most unexpected transfer?
Good question this. Probably was when Cristiano returned to Man United, because if you remember, that story was not that strong in the media. The expectation in the media was about Cristiano going to Manchester City from Juventus. The deal was quite advanced with Manchester City, and then in the space of 24 hours, it completely changed, and Man United decided to proceed and to sign Cristiano. I remember when in the morning I got also the information and the confirmation on this one. I was, wow, really? And then I jumped live on Twitch and there were 99,000 people waiting for me to say 3 words. And I was saying, what's going on?
That's the new catchphrase. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on's better than here we go. I like it.
Do you still get the adrenaline hit when transfers go through that you broke?
Oh, yes, absolutely. The day I don't feel that is going to be my end. But now I still have that feeling. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. This feeling is absolutely important. And I want to mention you one story. This is on a journalistic point of view more than about the name. But I remember when Chelsea signed Cole Palmer, there was this news around that Chelsea is going to sign a new attacker. No one knew the name, leaking in the press, tons of names every single day, but no one mentioned Cole Palmer. When I got the information from a crazy source who was not even involved that strong in football, but told me I met this person last night and told me he was with this person and told him that Cole Palmer might be the name. I was checking the news, it was true. When I broke the story on Cole Palmer going to Chelsea, it was unbelievable. The feeling really like a kid because I was really dreaming in that moment.
Wow, this is so interesting. Oh my God, I have like 10,000 more questions, but we've only got time for a few more. Which player do you most get on with right now?
Well, look, I have very good relationship, for example, with Erling Haaland. Erling, we've always been friends because I started to text him when he was at Molde. I was playing video games and he was already very good at that. So I started to text him. I say, you are quite good, my friend. Yes. And so we started to talk and then we became quite good friends.
How's his lip? Is it okay? Will he play it? Will he play at the weekend?
He's okay. Don't worry. Yeah.
Who is going to win the Premier League?
Look, who's going to win the Premier League is a good question, but I would say Liverpool. For me, they are too good.
Okay, almost final question. Who's going to win the Ballon d'Or?
I think Ousmane Dembélé.
Okay. And before we let you go, because that phone of yours is basically the thing that we are so fascinated with, can you pick it up if it's near you? And I think it will be near you. Can you tell us how many texts or missed calls that you've received in the half an hour that you've given us of your time, which is so kind? Go on.
Let's see. I think we have 1, 2, 3. I have a news for you. I think it's not that interesting for you, but it's still a news. Westerlo in Belgium, because the market is still open in Belgium, have signed a player, I don't know who he is, called Buyupi. So they told me Buyupi to Westerlo is a done deal in this moment.
Wow.
Look.
Wow.
So you see, there is always something, even when the market
always
is closed.
Something. Oh, I love it. Chaps, do you have anything else for Fabrizio before we let him go?
How many stories of me getting Charlotte FC?
No, I don't.
No, yeah, that one.
If you want, text me and I will break that. I will be more than happy.
Yeah,
Theo's going to come out for time and go and play at Charlotte FC.
Rebecca, the listeners would appreciate this quick story. So Fabrizio and I connected because Cristiano Ronaldo was in a serious conversation with Sporting Kansas City and MLS.
True.
And so I reach out to Fabrizio and I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you know this is kind of what's going on. And he's like, yeah, there's been rumblings going on. That's how Fabrizio and I met.
True.
And all I will say is this. Within 30 seconds of a WhatsApp, he responded with direction, how we would handle breaking the news, and this is how we would go about it. I was like, yes, sir. And here we are.
Yes, sir.
4 years later.
True.
That
I
is
can
brilliant.
confirm that.
I love that. Fabrizio, thank you so much. We are going to let you go. You probably have a million things you need to get on and do and break stories. So we really appreciate your time on It's Called Soccer, and we will speak to you soon. Thanks, Fabrizio.
No, thank you, guys. Pleasure. I will see you soon.